Hello and welcome to my channel again. So now in this video we are going to talk about the cerebellum. The cerebellum is a remarkable structure nestled beneath the cerebrum in the posterior cranial fossa of the brain. Despite its smaller size compared to the cerebrum, the cerebellum is indispensable for motor coordination, precision and balance as well as for certain cognitive functions. This intricate neural structure consists of distinct cell types and interconnected circuits that orchestrate complex movements and contribute to cognitive process. In this comprehensive exploration, we will delve into the anatomy, function, development, connectivity, and clinical significance of the cerebellum, shedding light on its pivotal role in brain function and human behavior. Anatomy of the cerebellum. The cerebellum comprises a highly organized structure with a distinctive foliated appearance consisting of lobules and fissures. It can be divided into three major regions. First is vermis. This is the midline portion of the cerebellum comprising the vermal lobules which extend longitudinally along the middle line. Second is hemispheres, the lateral portions of the cerebellum divided into anterior, posterior and flocculonodular lobes, each with specific functional roles. And next is cerebellar peduncles, fiber bundles that connect the cerebellum to other parts of the brainstem, including the superior cerebellar peduncle, which connects to the midbrain, middle cerebellar peduncle, which connects to the pons, and inferior cerebellar peduncle, which connects to the medulla oblongata. Within the cerebellum, a highly convoluted structure of gray matter called the cerebellar cortex surrounds a central core of white matter known as the cerebellar nuclei. The cortex contains three layers: the molecular layer, Purkinje cell layer, and granular layer, each populated by distinct type of neurons and glial cells. Purkinje cells, the principal neurons of the cerebellum, exert a powerful inhibitory influence on deep cerebellar nuclei, modulating their output to various brain regions. Next is the function of the cerebellum. The cerebellum plays a crucial role in motor control and coordination, contributing to the smooth execution of movements, balance maintenance, and posture regulation. Its functions can be broadly categorized into several domains. First is motor coordination. The cerebellum integrates sensory inputs from proprioceptors, vestibular organs, and visual receptors to refine and adjust motor commands generated by the cerebral cortex. It ensures the accurate timing, sequencing, and scaling of muscle contractions, facilitating smooth and precise movements. Next is balance and posture. Through its connection with vestibular nuclei and spinal cord motor neurons, the cerebellum regulates muscle tone and posture, enabling the maintenance of equilibrium and stability during standing, walking, and other activities. Next is motor learning. The cerebellum plays a pivotal role in motor learning and skill acquisition, allowing individuals to adapt and refine their movements based on feedback from sensory inputs and error signals. This process, known as sensory motor adaptation, underlies the acquisition of new motor skills and the optimization of existing ones. Next is cognitive functions. Beyond its motor functions, the cerebellum also contributes to certain cognitive processes, including attention, language, and executive functions. Connections between the cerebellum and cerebral cortex supports the coordination of cognitive tasks and the integration of motor and non-motor functions. Next is the development of the cerebellum. The cerebellum undergoes intricate developmental process during embryogenesis involving the proliferation, migration, and differentiation of neural progenitor cells. Key stages of the cerebellar development include neurogenesis, migration, circuit formation, and synaptogenesis. First is neurogenesis. Neural progenitor cells within the cerebellar ventricular zone gave rise to different cell types, including Purkinje cells, granule cells, and interneurons. Next is migration. Newly generated neurons migrates radially from the ventricular zone to their final destination within the cerebellar cortex. Purkinje cells migrate to the Purkinje cell layer while granule cells migrate to granular layer. Next is circuit formation. Neurons within the cerebellar cortex establish intricate connections with each other and with neurons in other brain regions, forming functional circuits essential for cerebellar function. Next is synaptogenesis. During postnatal development, synapses between neurons within the cerebellum undergo refinement and maturation, contributing to the establishment of precise neural circuits and motor coordination. Disruptions in cerebellar development, whether due to genetic mutations, prenatal insults, or environmental factors, can lead to neurodevelopmental disorders such as cerebellar hypoplasia or cerebellar atrophy, characterized by motor impairments, balance deficits, and cognitive dysfunction. Next is the connectivity of the cerebellum. The cerebellum receives inputs from various regions of the central nervous system and sends outputs to motor and non motor areas, facilitating bidirectional communication with other brain regions. Major inputs to the cerebellum include: first is cerebral cortex. The cerebellum receives inputs from multiple cortical regions, including the motor cortex, prefrontal cortex, and parietal cortex, via the pontine nuclei. These inputs convey information about motor commands, sensory feedback, and cognitive processes. Next is spinal cord. Sensory information from proprioceptors and mechanoreceptors in the body is relayed to the cerebellum via the spinocerebellar tracts, informing motor coordination and proprioception. Next is vestibular system. Inputs from the vestibular nuclei provide information about head position, acceleration, and spatial orientation, allowing the cerebellum to regulate the balance and posture. Outputs from the cerebellum primarily target the thalamus, brainstem nuclei, and cerebral cortex, modulating motor commands and influencing various motor and non motor functions. The cerebellum's efferent projections contribute to the refinement of motor output and the coordination of complex movements. Next is clinical significance of the cerebellum. Disorders affecting the cerebellum can lead to a range of motor deficits, cognitive impairments, and neurological symptoms. Some common cerebellar disorders and their clinical manifestation include: first is cerebellar ataxia, characterized by impaired coordination, gait disturbances, and postural instability. Cerebellar ataxia, it results from damage to the cerebellum or its connection, and it can arise from various causes including stroke, trauma, tumors, and neurodegenerative diseases. Next is cerebellar hypoplasia. This condition involves underdevelopment of the cerebellum, leading to motor delays, balance problems, and developmental disabilities. Cerebellar hypoplasia can occur due to genetic mutations, prenatal infections, or exposure to toxins during pregnancy. Next is cerebellar stroke. Occlusion or hemorrhage of blood vessels supplying the cerebellum can result in cerebellar stroke, causing sudden onset symptoms such as vertigo, nausea, headache, and ataxia. Prompt medical intervention is crucial to minimize neurological damage and improve the outcomes. Next is cerebellar degeneration. Progressive loss of cerebellar neurons and atrophy of cerebellar structures can occur in neurodegenerative diseases such as spinocerebellar ataxias, multiple system atrophy, and cerebellar cortical degeneration. This condition often manifests with ataxia, dysarthria, and other cerebellar symptoms. In summary, the cerebellum is a remarkable structure essential for motor coordination, balance, and certain cognitive functions. Its intricate anatomy, developmental process, connectivity, and clinical significance underscore its pivotal role in brain function and human behavior. Further research into the mechanisms underlying cerebellar function and dysfunction holds promise for advancing our understanding of neurological disorders and developing effective treatments to improve the patient outcomes.